Welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you're a focused learner trying to flip that constant money anxiety into actual financial empowerment, you're in the exact right spot. Today, we're diving into this incredible source material all about soft life finance. And no, this isn't just another boring budgeting lecture. It's about a total shift in how we operate, ditching that endless stress and hustle and stepping into a life where your bank account actually supports your peace of mind. We're going to break down the concrete mechanics and the deep psychological shifts you absolutely need to make this happen.
How you handle small money is how you handle big money. We really have to start right there because it's such a powerful truth. So many of us fall into this trap of thinking, man, if I just made an extra 10 grand a year, all my debt would magically vanish. But here's the reality check. Just making more money isn't going to fix your debt if your foundational habits are broken. Literally, if you have bad money habits making $60,000, you're just going to have those exact same bad habits when you're making $120,000.
Section 1. The Social Media Wealth Illusion. Okay, let's really dive into this. We need to unpack why so many modern, incredibly hardworking women are constantly grinding, yet still finding themselves stuck living paycheck to paycheck. Like, where is the disconnect here? Well, back in the day, people tried to keep up with the Joneses next door, right? Today, we're trying to keep up with the Instagram streets. We see these wildly extravagant lifestyles online, and we end up going into debt to fund a life we can't actually afford, all just to impress absolute strangers. But comparing yourself to people on social media completely masks reality. The exact person you're envying might literally be drowning in thousands of dollars of consumer debt. Or, hey, maybe they do have it like that, but they skimp in major areas you never see. You absolutely have to mind your own plate. Focus on your own financial reality, or else your food is literally going to get cold while you're busy staring at someone else's.
So the crucial takeaway is this. Making more money is not a magic eraser for bad habits. There are literally people out there pulling in $500,000 a year, people we'd consider the top 1%, who are still living deposit to deposit. They've got cash flow issues, massive debt, and just constant grinding money stress, all because they're living way above their means. Listen, living below your means is an absolutely essential skill, whether you're making $60,000 or $500,000.
Section 2. The Mechanics. Pay yourself first. So let's step away from that illusion of wealth and get into the concrete mechanics of actually building it. And this brilliantly illustrates where it all starts, with one of the most classic rules of personal finance. Before you pay rent, before the car payment, before that girl's night out, you absolutely must carve out 10% of your paycheck for your future, period. Most people pay for the now and figure they'll worry about the future later. And honestly, that is exactly why one unexpected expense can completely derail them. So how do we actually make that happen? Well, it comes down to these 3 totally actionable steps. First, remove that 10% automatically, like before it even hits your checking account, so you don't even have a chance to miss it. Second, route it strategically. Take full advantage of employer match programs or a high-yield savings plan. And third, get creative with the remaining 90%. And look, this doesn't mean you stop living. You can absolutely still buy a reliable, nice car, but maybe you go with a Toyota instead of a Lexus. You can still take an incredible vacation, but maybe you book a flight to Mexico instead of the Maldives, It's all about making conscious compromises. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly are we funding with that 10%? Well, we're building what the source material brilliantly reframes as a peace-out fund. This is essentially your emergency fund, but calling it a peace-out fund totally shifts the focus. It becomes all about protecting your mental health and your autonomy. It's liquid cash that gives you the power to confidently pivot, to literally say peace out to a toxic work environment, a bad relationship, or a super stressful living situation, all without feeling financially trapped.
Now, the magic number for this fund is 3 to 6. 3 to 6 months of liquid expenses is the standard golden rule for most folks. But a quick caveat here, if you're self-employed or if your lifestyle is super dynamic and your income fluctuates, you might actually need to bump that up to 6 to 12 months of cash on hand. Having this buffer is just absolutely crucial because, let's be real, unexpected expenses aren't a matter of if, they are definitely a matter of when.
Section 3. Good debt versus bad debt.
All right, now that we've got our savings strategy locked in, we've got to talk about the money we owe. Because if you're building a soft life, you have to understand that not all debt is created equal. Good debt, that's leverage. It's an asset that helps you build equity or increases your future earning power. For example, taking on 40 grand in student loan debt actually makes sense if it unlocks a starting salary of 90 grand, or a mortgage, right, that builds equity over time. But bad debt, that's consumer debt. It's putting Sephora orders, hair extensions, and big fancy vacations on a high-interest credit card. That is just retail therapy, and it does absolutely zero to build your future net worth. And our source material delivers some real tough love on this point.
You cannot afford retail therapy if you're living paycheck to paycheck. Ouch, right? But it's true. Buying stuff to give yourself a temporary boost is only going to create way more financial anxiety down the road. If you're stressed out, you have to find healthier, non-financial ways to cope. Seek out actual therapy, not retail therapy, at the checkout counter. Section 4. The mindset of abundance. Let's move into this and see how it all builds together. We're transitioning from the pure mechanics of money into the deep psychological shifts you need to actually sustain wealth. Because listen, you can know all the math in the world, but without the right mindset, you're going to self-sabotage. Your reality is shaped by the people around you. So you need to audit the conversations happening in your circle right now. Are they just lowbrow gossip, or are they goal-oriented? The source actually shares a fantastic story about this. She was originally in a nursing program, but she surrounded herself with encouraging friends and a professor who helped her realize nursing just wasn't her path. Because she was in this supportive, expansive circle, she had the confidence to pivot her entire career to finance early on. It saved her years of struggle. You silently adopt the beliefs of your inner circle, so make sure there are people who make your wildest dreams feel totally attainable. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is how it applies to literally everything. You can't help who you attract, but you 1,000% can help who you entertain. I mean, hit the nail on the head. If you're a positive, driven person doing the work, people are naturally going to gravitate towards you. You can't control that attraction, but you absolutely 1,000% control who you let into your space. This goes for who you date, the coworkers you grab lunch with, the friends you see on the weekends. If they are draining your energy, I guarantee you, they are eventually going to drain your finances. This dynamic is especially critical in our close relationships. As the source points out, women are often natural nurturers. They multiply what they're given. So think about it. If you're sharing your life, swapping energy, and entertaining a partner or a friend who constantly complains and lives in this mindset of lack, you are going to absorb and multiply that negativity. It's like a sponge. Please do not let someone else's pessimism stifle your own financial growth. Don't let them multiply your fear when you should be multiplying your optimism. So how do we combat that negativity? The source gives us these 3 awesome life cheat codes for operating from a place of total abundance. Number 1, be actively grateful, even right in the middle of adversity. 2, lean heavily on your faith or your spirituality, and not just when things are tough, but when you're incredibly blessed too. And 3, and this is a really big one for financial flow, give without expecting absolutely anything back in return. Now, let's clarify that last point about giving, because it might sound a little counterproductive when you're trying to, save money. You should never, ever pour from an empty cup, and you've got to use discernment so people don't take advantage of you. But when your cup is full, giving selflessly, just out of pure kindness, puts you in direct alignment with abundance. You're no longer operating from a place of fear or lack. And honestly, the positive energy you put out into the world really does return to you multiplied. It often brings these completely unexpected financial blessings and opportunities right to your doorstep. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to really look at your current environment. Look at the habits you tolerate and the company you keep. Are the people you entertain costing you your peace? Achieving a true soft life means mastering the math in your bank account, for sure, but it also means mastering the mindset in your daily life. So take a moment today, audit your circle, and ask yourself, is your environment supporting your financial goals, or is it secretly holding them back? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep focusing on that growth.